Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual class of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher. Children, we are in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic and because of that we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean we are going to stop learning. So we are going to do many lessons which are very interesting from your textbook through the virtual class here. So let us do a lesson in English today. So children, let us continue with the lesson that we were doing in standard 8th last time, and it was a lesson in scholarship and it was a scholarship English lesson. Remember? So come on, let's continue with lesson number 4.2, direct and indirect speech. Now when we did the lesson last time children, we tried to understand what is the meaning of direct speech. We tried and understood what is the meaning of indirect speech. We also looked at various rules for direct and indirect speech. So we had actually done part 1 of our scholarship video where we try to understand the concept. Okay, and when we move on to part 2 of our video, what do? We always try and do some example questions based on the patterns which are given in our textbook. So come on, let's go to part 2 of this lesson. That is the second video in this lesson where we are going to take a look at the various kind of questions which can be asked based on this particular topic. But before that, we will quickly revise what we did last time. If you want to revise this in detail, that is if you want to see all the points that we discussed last time in detail, you can very well go and refer to the video based on this lesson 4.2 direct and indirect speech part 1, which is already available on the MCGM English Medium YouTube channel for you. Alright, so come on, let's start with the revision part first. So what is the meaning of direct speech, children? Last time we saw that direct speech repeats or quotes the exact words spoken. So whatever words we speak, those are repeated or those are quoted in the sentences which are in direct speech. So the exact words which are spoken are simply repeated. That is direct speech. Okay. When we use direct speech in writing, we place the words spoken between the quotation marks and there is no change in these words. So either double inverted commas are used or single inverted commas are used, but we place the words which are spoken between these quotation marks and there is no change also in these words. We may be reporting something that's being said now, for example, a telephone conversation or telling someone later about a previous conversation. So we might be telling anything. We might be telling something which is happening now or we might be talking about something which has happened a little bit earlier, but in the exact words of the speaker. So that is the meaning of direct speech. Let's take a look at some examples for direct speech. So here are some example sentences. She says, "What time will you be at home?" This is an example of a sentence in direct speech. We are saying what she said, exactly in her words. Alright, then she said, "What time will you be home?" And I said, "I don't know." So see, this is again a conversation, a very short conversation though, but it's a conversation. One person has spoken and the other one has answered. Okay, but the words are exactly what the speakers have uttered. "There's a fly in my soup," screamed Simone. So Simone herself is saying, and she's talking about her soup, and she's saying that there's a fly in her soup. Finally, John said, "There's an elephant outside the window." So again, what John said, the same thing we are saying. So these are all examples of direct speech. Now we go to indirect speech, or we call it as reported speech also. So what is indirect speech? Reported speech or indirect speech is usually used to talk about the past. So we normally change the tense of the words spoken. Now if you remember, last time in the video we had talked in detail about the various ways in which the tenses will change. Alright, so for further reference, you can watch that particular video, part 1. where we talked about how each one of the tense, whether it is the present tense, whether it is the past tense, whether it is the future form, how will change to would, and all that we had discussed it just recently in the previous video. So you can pick up that video and you can see it. Alright, but remember, we are talking about the past, so normally the tense will change. Now the tense will not change in certain cases too. Now that also we had talked about. Okay, so we use reporting verbs like say, tell, ask, and we may use the word that to introduce the reported words. So he said that, she said that. Alright, so we use the word that in order to introduce the reported words. Then, inverted commas are not used. Here in this case, we do not use inverted commas. Alright, so this was about indirect speech. Now, let us come to certain examples of indirect speech. Now, one more thing which I want to tell you about indirect speeches, we were just discussing that the tense will change. But remember, if we are talking about the universal truth or certain universal truths, for example, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, this is a universal truth. Okay, there then we will not change the tense. Now, let's look at some examples. He said that he would definitely buy it. Now see, I've put in this word that in the bracket and I told you why. Why? Because we could always skip the that and still keep the sentence grammatically correct. Then we have, Sheila told me that I had to come back in the afternoon. The council said that they will try and clear the rubbish. She told me that she was feeling unwell. So these are the different sentences. Now we look at a shorter version of how the rules are changed without going into the details, because all those details are available for you already on YouTube. Okay, so come on, let's take a look at certain rules quickly. So you will remove all the inverted commas and quotation marks. Alright, you will remove all the inverted commas and quotation marks. Then you will always end the sentence with a full stop. Alright, now again we discussed that you will not just remove the inverted commas and quotation marks, but you will have to make a change in not only the tense but also the pronouns. Alright, then the tense of the verb inside the quotation marks and commas should be changed. So it is not as if you are just going to do away with the inverted commas and the quotation marks. You have to take care of the tenses also. Again, for example, let's see. Direct speeches. Raj said, I have to be in the meeting by 3 p.m. So see, you are in the indirect speech sentence, you are doing away with the quotation marks. Alright, and you're doing away with the comma also. And you're saying, Raj said that. Now look at the I. The I has become he. Okay, have to be in the meeting has become would have to be in the meeting by 3 p.m. So this is how the sentence undergoes a transformation. Now we are not going to discuss the tenses now, but remember, I will just tell you that the pronoun has to change. The tense has to change. The time also has to change. If it is today, then it will become yesterday, tomorrow, whatever. So that you will have to take care of. Okay. Now that for that again, like I told you, you can refer to the previous video. So let us get into the second part of our lesson right now. And let us look at the question patterns. But before that, we have one more example here for you. Direct speeches. Mani said, I met Selena yesterday. Indirect speeches, Mani said that she had met Selena yesterday. Okay, so I hope the idea is clear, and also you have a little bit of a brush up now for how you will use the rules for changing the direct speech into indirect speech. Moving on now, like we said, to the question patterns. So we have in all 4 types of questions which could be asked. Look at the first one here. Select the correct indirect speech form of the given direct speech. So there will be a sentence which is given to you and it will be in the direct speech form. There will be a comma, there will be inverted commas. Okay, you will have to select, and there will be 4 sentences which will be you know how this direct speech sentence is written, out of which 3 will be wrong and 1 will be correct. So you have to select the correct one. For that, you need to understand the rules, etc. Only if you understand that, you'll be able to select the correct one. Okay? In the second pattern, select 2 incorrect indirect speech sentences. So here you will get 4 sentences, out of which 2 are indirect and 2 are indirect, or maybe you will have 4 sentences which are indirect speech, but there might be some kind of grammatical error or mistake in these sentences. So you have to pick out which 2 are incorrect according to grammar or according to the rules. Then you choose the correct alternative from the web. So you have a web diagram, and then in the middle of the web you have a sentence. You have to choose the correct alternative from that particular web. Finally, you have pattern 4, which says identify the correct direct speech from the given indirect speech. So this is just an opposite of what you did in the first pattern, where you selected the correct indirect speech. Here you have to select the correct direct speech. Alright, so hope the idea of these patterns are understood by you. Now, like I always tell you children, if you try to read the pattern and if you try to understand the pattern, you will not get it properly. Okay, but when we will try and see the diagrams, that time you will be able to understand it very, very clearly. So come on, let's start with pattern 1 and let us go to question 1 in pattern 1. Select the correct indirect speech form of the given direct speech. Here is the sentence. She said, I have baked a cake. Okay, so now here are the 4 options for you. She said that she baked a cake. She said that she had baked a cake. She said that I baked a cake. She said that she had baked a cake. So see, there are so many small things which you have to remember. So for this pattern, you have to select which is the correct indirect speech form. Here are your options. Okay, so now tell me which one is correct. Is it 1, 2, 3 or 4? Remember, always pause the video and try to find out the answer yourself. Then you will learn better. So which one is the correct answer, children? The second one. She said that she had baked a cake. Now see, this is the past tense. Okay, she had baked a cake is the correct one. Okay, coming to the second question in pattern 1. Again, you have the same heading question, and then here is the sentence for you. Aarti said, what a beautiful rainbow it is. Okay, now this is something which Aarti is saying, and you have to convert it into indirect speech. So what will it be? Aarti exclaimed wonderfully that the rainbow was very beautiful. Aarti said with wonder that the rainbow was very beautiful. Aarti exclaimed with wonder that the rainbow is very beautiful. Aarti exclaimed with wonder that the rainbow was very beautiful. So come on, think. Put on your thinking caps. And which one is the correct answer? Yes, it is option number 4. Now you have understood. See, the is has become was. Okay, and Aarti is saying what a beautiful rainbow it is. So she is admiring the rainbow and she is very happy also. And she is in wonder also. So this is the correct interpretation. Aarti exclaimed with wonder that the rainbow was very beautiful. Okay, come on, let's go to the third example in this pattern. This world, she said, is full of sorrow. Wish that I were dead. Now remember, these are 2 sentences in one. Okay, so let's see how to make it indirect. So will it be, she observed that the world is full of sorrow. She wished to be dead. She said that the world was full of sorrow. She wished to be dead. She observed that the world was full of sorrow. She wished to be dead. She observed that the world was full of sorrow. She wished to die. So come on, which one is the correct one? Read all of the options properly and find out which one is the correct one. Yes, it is option number 1. She observed that the world is full of sorrow. Now this is a universal truth. That the world is full of sorrow is a universal truth. She wished to be dead. Okay, so this is the correct answer. Coming to example 4 in this pattern, Jack said, "Can I go and dance, father?" So Jack is asking his father whether they can go and dance. So come on, let's see how it will be written. Jack asked his father if he can go and dance. Jack asked father whether he went and danced. Jack sought permission of dance. Jack asked his father if he could go and dance. Okay, now here again a small thing is missing, that is the full stops. So come on, let us make our sentences correct by adding these full stops here. So yes, come on, we have added these full stops here. Now that must be a typing error. Okay children, so this now our sentences are correct. And now let's check out the options. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one is the correct one? It is option number 4 again. Jack asked his father if he could go and dance. So you remember we discussed that can becomes could. So option number 4 is the correct one. Now we come to the last question in this pattern. Question number 5. He said to me, prices are going up. Let's see what are the options. He told me that prices will be going up. He told me that prices were going up. He told me that prices are going up. He told me that prices went up. Yes, which one is the correct answer? It is option number 2. He told me that prices were going up. So you see the are has become were because we've changed the tense of the sentence. So these were the 5 examples for you in pattern 1. Let us now start with pattern 2, which says and which asks you to select 2 incorrect indirect speech sentences. Okay, so we have to select 2 incorrect sentences, remember. So these are your sentences for you. She said she liked to swim in the ocean. He said he lived in New Orleans. She said he would lived in New Orleans. He said he was going to the Himalayas. So which 2 sentences here are incorrect? Incorrect, okay? So the first one, she said she liked to swim in the ocean, is incorrect. And the third one, he said he would lived in New Orleans, is incorrect. Now there is one small thing missing here children, must be a typing error. Let us make it correct here. So let us put these full stops which are supposed to come after each indirect sentence. Okay, so here goes full stop 1, here goes full stop 2, here goes the third one, and here is the fourth one. So now our sentences are properly correct. So if there's anything missing like this, we will make up for it. Alright, come on. Now let's go to the next sentence here. Example 2 in pattern 2. Here we have, she say that she is ill. She said the test was difficult. He said he buy a car. He said he had been walking along the street. So tell me which 2 sentences here are wrong. So is it the first one is the first one, right? Read it again. She say that she is ill doesn't seem to be proper. So yes, this is one incorrect one. What about the other one? I think sentence number 3 also is not correct. He said he buy a car, which is again not correct. Okay, so in this fashion, what do? You pick up 2 incorrect sentences which are an example of indirect speech. Coming to the third example here, we have George said that day was nice. My mother said she was angry with me. Maria tell me to dance with her. He explained that he was read a book. So come on, let's see which 2 are wrong. So pause the video and try to find out the wrong answer. So the third one, Maria tell me to dance with her, is wrong. And the fourth one, he explained that he was read a book is wrong. Okay, coming to the next one here, he said that man is mortal. Mark said that Bill need a pencil. My mother told the children to go to bed. They said that they had been taken exercise. So now, since now you're becoming experts in understanding direct and indirect speech, I'm sure you have picked out the answers immediately. So yes, which are the wrong ones? The second one is wrong and the fourth one is wrong. Alright, then we come to the last example here. The doctor asked the patient to come to the clinic tomorrow. He said that he did not want to see the film. Mary said, "Will you come to school today?" Ronnie requested his friend to send the book. So out of these four sentences, which two are incorrect? Let's see. It is the first one which is incorrect. The doctor asked the patient to come to the clinic tomorrow. Okay. Then the third one is incorrect. Mary said, "Will you come to school today?" is incorrect. So this was pattern 2 for you. Let's move on and see pattern 3, where we have this web. Choose the correct alternative from the web. So in the web, you will see a sentence in direct speech. He said to me, inverted commas, "You are my best friend." And then you have 4 options in indirect speech. You have to select them. Let's see. So you have option number 1, 2, 3, 4. So which is the correct alternative? It is the first one. He told me that I was his best friend. Okay? All the others, read them, you will realize that there is something wrong with it. Moving on to the next example. The teacher said, water freezes at 0 degrees C. The teacher said that water froze at 0 degrees C. The teacher said that water freezes at 0 degrees C. The teacher said that water had frozen at 0 degrees C. The teacher said that water will freeze at 0 degree C. So which do you think is the right answer? It is option number, yes, the third one. The teacher said that water freezes at 0 degrees C. See, there is no tense change as far as freezes is. It has not become freezing, or it has not become frozen, or it has not become froze. Why? Because water freezes at 0 degrees C is a scientific fact. Alright, moving on to the third example here. He said to Sumit, how can I make it different? So he asked Sumit how he could make it different. He asked Sumit how he could make it different. Okay, so which one is the correct one? It is the fourth one which is the correct one. Alright, moving on to the next one. The teacher said to Ashok, go away. So the teacher said to Ashok that he could go away. The teacher ordered Ashok to go away. The teacher requested Ashok to go away. The teacher asked Ashok if he could go away. So now when the teacher is saying go away, or when your teacher doesn't say such rude things, but in case she says get lost, what is she telling you to do? Is she requesting you? Is she asking you? What is she doing? She is actually ordering you. So option number 2 is correct. The teacher ordered Ashok to go away. Coming to the last one, he asked him, who is your father? He asked him who his father was. He asked, who is your father? He asked to him, who is your father? He asked me who his father is. What one? Which one? 1, 2, 3 or 4. Which one is the correct answer? It is option number 1. He asked who his father was. Alright. Now we come to the next and last pattern, that is pattern 4 in this particular lesson. And here goes the question for you. Identify the correct direct speech for the given indirect speech. Sentence number 1 is here for you. Dick says that he has been to Spain. Alright, now this is a sentence which is in indirect form. Dick says that he has once been to Spain. Now which is the correct direct speech for this? Dick says he has been to Spain. Dick says I have once been to Spain. Dick says he have once been to Spain, or Dick says I has once been to Spain. Pay attention to the verbs which are used and pay attention to the tenses also. So which one is the correct one? It is the second one. Dick says I have once been to Spain. Okay, so this was the first question in the last pattern. We have a few more examples before we wind this up. Now we have the second example. Mary asked whether I would come to school that day. Here are your answers. Which one is the correct one? Mary said, will I come to school today? Mary asked, would you come to school that day? Mary said, will you come to school today? Or Mary said, will you coming to school today? So which one is the correct answer? It is option number 3. Mary said, will you come to school today? So the today has become that day, and you has become, I has become you. Okay, then we go to the third example here. The teacher said that the sun rises in the east. So here are your options. The teacher said the sun is rising in the east. The teacher said the sun rises in the east. The teacher said the sun rises in the east, or the teacher said the sun has risen in the east. So here the correct answer is option 2. Now what we will do is we will cut off this is here. Okay, this is has been printed by mistake. So the teacher says the sun rises in the east. Coming to the second last example here, he asked me if I work from home. So what will it be in direct speech? He asked me, do I work from home? He asked me, does your work from home? Do you work from home, or do you work from home? Which one is the correct answer, children? It is the fourth one. Okay. The next example is, his mother told him not to play with matches. Here we have the options. Don't play with matches, his mother said. Don't play with matches, his mother said. Stop playing with matches, his mother said. Don't you play with matches, his mother said. Which is the right one? It is the first one. Don't play with matches, his mother said. Okay, children. So this was the last question as far as this video is concerned. Now what we will do is, you should watch the entire video and then also try and do some tasks which I have set for you. And remember, always pause the video when you see the question, work out the answer yourself, and then replay the video. Alright, so that is all for today in this particular video. So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, and after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned or the video that you just watched. So what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions and note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form. There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learnt a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.